Yeah, we back. Now today's gonna be a quick video. I feel like being petty, so let's get into it, man. As you already know, Donald Trump, next president of the United States of America, and the topic of conversation lately has been immigrants, right? Immigration has been a hot button topic over these past couple months, couple years. Now, of course, when it comes to me, this type of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump has always been hilarious to me due to the fact that he is a descendant of immigrants. He is not a foundational white American, right? His great-great-grandfather wasn't around during the 13 colonies. He wasn't in Virginia. He wasn't in Boston. He wasn't in Massachusetts. He was somewhere in Frankfurt, Germany. But stay with me to the end of this video because there's a lesson to learn from this, especially for black men. Now, as you already know, Donald Trump has been making his choices for his cabinet positions, right? Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, National Director of Intelligence, etc., etc. And I've been looking around and I realized that a good portion, I would say, damn near the majority of Trump's administration is a bunch of, anchor baby, immigrant booty scratchers. And it's ironic because if you listen to Donald Trump's rhetoric, you would think that he has some type of lineage that goes back to the Revolutionary War. You would think that his ancestors were in America during the 13 colonies, like they was in Georgia and they was in Virginia. But no, this guy is a musty tether. He is not a real American. He is not a foundational white American. Your granddaddy came from Germany. Your grandmama came from Scotland. Your wife came from Eastern Europe. Nigga, you a musty booty scratching tether. But when you examine his administration, it actually gets worse. His whole entire cabinet is full of musty tethers, bro. We got to talk about this. Now, first things first, when Trump was on the campaign trail, I would say the individual who gave him the largest amount of support, tangible support, would be Elon Musk. I mean, Elon Musk went and bought an entire social media platform just to blast Trump propaganda. And as you already know, Elon Musk is a foreigner. He didn't become a US citizen till he was like 35 years old. Now, like I said, stay with me. It's a message behind all this. Just stay with me though to the end of the video. Now, as we know, social media was definitely a battleground when it came to spreading propaganda on both sides of the aisle for the Democrats and the Republicans. And I would say Trump definitely had Kamala Harris beat in the social media arena. And of course, it also helps to have the CEO of Twitter, Elon Musk, down with your team. Now, keep in mind, neither of these men are foundational white Americans. They were not here back in 1745 during the establishment of the colonies. They wasn't here when the British invaded. They wasn't here back in 1812 when the White House got set on fire. Elon Musk is a fresh off the boat booty scratcher. But like I said, you would never know that because like I said, when it comes to the white immigrants, nobody says anything about the white immigrants. I don't understand why, but let's continue. Now, not only was Elon Musk one of the biggest backers, one of the biggest supporters, one of the biggest donors behind the Trump campaign, but he also has a position in government, right? I believe that he was appointed to, the director of government efficiency or something like that. So, we got a whole immigrant booty scratcher up in the White House, in the halls of government. But anyways, enough about Donald Trump, enough about Elon Musk, fled his homeland, back in South Africa. Let's take a look at Trump's cabinet, right? Let's take a look at their background. Take a look up on the screen. This is Pete Hegseth, the incoming United States Secretary of Defense. Now let's jump into his background. Hegseth was born in 1980 and he is of Norwegian descent on both sides of the family. So this guy, like I said, he wasn't even here, back when James Madison and John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton, his ancestors wasn't even here. They was back in Norway, right? They was back in Oslo. They was back in Brumunddal. He was not nowhere near North America. He wasn't even over here. Now, let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Incoming United States Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Born in Miami, Florida, the child of Cuban immigrants who fled the regime of Batista. See, this guy wasn't even here when Benjamin Franklin was around, bro. These guys wasn't over here with Benjamin Franklin and George Washington and all those guys in British North America. These dudes is some musty feet tethers, man, that ran from their homeland, got their track shoes on and ran to America, bro, to leech off what the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant built. These dudes is some musty booty scratchers. Let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. The incoming U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. I think that's how you say her name. Kristi Noem was born in South Dakota. And she has Norwegian ancestry. Okay, so just like the Secretary of Defense, right? They wasn't over here back in the day, man, when the red coats were coming. The British are coming. The British are coming. They wasn't here when the British was coming, right? She was all the way in Norway. Now let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Tulsi Gabbard, the incoming director of national intelligence. Now these are some big boy positions, man. These ain't some small fry positions. These are some big dog positions, man. All these booty scratchers getting these big dog positions. This is crazy, bro. What about the foundational white Americans, bro? What about the foundational white Americans that was owning plantations, that was here, fighting for the country, fighting in the war, fighting in the Civil War? Where is the foundational white Americans, man? This is crazy, man. The Tethers is going crazy in the White House. Let's continue. Now, Tulsi Gabbard, she is of European and Samoan ancestry, and I believe that she wasn't even born in the United States. All right, so she wasn't even born here, man. This is crazy. Now she's the director of national intelligence. Wow. Let's continue. We got Dr. Oz, right? Dr. Oz, the incoming administrator for the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid Services. Now we know this guy, obviously, you could just look at his face, look at his hairline, and you can see he's definitely not a foundational white American. He's definitely not a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, the OG Americans. Nah, he don't come from that old colonial stock. This guy, he's from Turkey, right? He's Turkish, right? He come from Turkey. He's not even a foundational white American, right? He is a Turkish booty scratcher. But let's continue. Next up, we got Howard Lutnick, the incoming United States Secretary of Commerce. And I believe this guy is, a descendant of Eastern European Jewish immigrants, right? So, he wasn't over here, like I said, back in the days when Thomas Jefferson was owning slaves and engaged in pedophilia. He wasn't here back in that time. He was somewhere, I don't know where he was at. He was somewhere in Albania or somewhere in Eastern Europe. I don't know where he came from, probably Poland or something. I don't know. But like I said, he's not a foundational white American, right? He doesn't come from that, OG, 13 colonies, Georgia, Massachusetts, Virginia. Nah, these dudes is some recent arrivals. But anyways, let me stop being petty, right? Let me stop being petty. There's a lesson in all this. There's a lesson to be learned in all this, apart from the jokes. And it's a lesson for black men to learn in all this as well. And you wonder why I go so hard against certain ignorance, right? Especially the ignorance of xenophobia and self-hatred that is rampant among many of our communities. Now, when Trump had made his choices for his cabinet, there were a lot of individuals, especially from, the left and the Democrat side, that were criticizing him because they said that he chose an all-white administration, or he only chose white men and women, and they tried to penalize him for not having a diverse cabinet. But when you dig deeper, you realize, yes, these are white men and women, but these are white men and women from very diverse backgrounds, right? You got Eastern European Jews, you got Norwegians, you got Italians, you got Czechoslovakians, you got people from Turkey, you got Elon Musk, immigrant booty scratcher from South Africa with Dutch origins, and you got the president himself, Donald Trump, the grandchild of German and Scottish immigrants. He wasn't here back in 1776. But one thing that I always emphasize on my channel is unity among our people, unity among black men and women. But I always say, I only want to unify with the best and the brightest of us. And you could take this Donald Trump cabinet as an example, right? Because a lot of these individuals are highly decorated, right? Went to very prestigious universities, went to Harvard, got studied, finance and business and public policy, and got masters and PhDs, and went to law school. And these are very highly decorated individuals, right? That they're not really having petty conversations about, oh, you're from Norway. Oh, you wasn't really from here. You wasn't even over here. Elon Musk, you an immigrant booty scratcher. You wasn't even born here. They're not having these low level, low IQ conversations, right? Because they understand that we have common goals and common interests that go beyond, petty things like my geographical location or geographical origins, right? And I believe that black men have to operate in the same way. The best and brightest of us need to come together. It doesn't matter your background, it doesn't matter your origin. That shit doesn't matter, bro. And I believe that's really how it works in the real world, right? In the real world, nobody's getting caught up in these low level conversations about if you're a real American or not, or if you're really from here or not. Nah. Those are internet conversations, especially when it comes to white folks, because white folks, when it comes to white immigrants, nobody even treats white immigrants as if they're immigrants. Like when you talk about immigrants, like when they go to foreign countries, they don't even call them immigrants, right? They call them expats and, shit like that. Digital nomads, and they get them fancy names. They don't even call them migrants. That's why you could have 300,000, 400,000 Ukrainians bum rushing to the United States and nobody even say a word about it. And watch, in 20 years, 25 years, you're going to have a Ukrainian Secretary of State, and everybody's going to act like it's totally normal. But in any event, the lessons to be learned from this, especially for black men, is definitely, if you're going to emulate anything that Trump does, it would be to understand that Never let low-level, petty bullshit cause you to divide yourself against your brothers. Because you go look at Trump, right? That's a German immigrant. You look at his Secretary of Defense. That's a Norwegian immigrant. But they don't see it like that, right? They see it like, nah, this is my brother. We got common goals. We got common interests. And it would be in both of our best interests to collaborate because we are stronger together. I'm not going to let the fact that his parents came from Norway and mine came from Germany get in between what we're trying to accomplish. I'm going to put him on a team. I'm going to put him on, right? And at the end of the day, the world does not see those two men as, oh, that guy's a Norwegian, that guy's a German. Nah, they just see, oh, two white men. They just see, Trump cabinet full of white men, and they standing on white man business. And that's the type of mentality that forward-thinking black men should have. We should collaborate with our best and brightest, right? Those of us who have something to offer, right? Because Donald Trump even seen Elon Musk, who, like I said, he was born in a foreign country, but he sees the value in Elon Musk as his, as a compatriot, as a fellow comrade. And that's why whenever you see any type of conversations happening that are trying to divide black men and try to stop black men from collaborating and put our heads together and put our best ideas forward on a table together, once you see any movement or anybody talking against the unity and collaboration and teamwork and synergy of black men, you have to stomp that motherfucker out. You have to stomp that person out until they are destroyed. Because when it comes to our adversaries, they clicking up, they teaming up, they doing their thing. Right? So we cannot let petty bullshit get in between us. Like I said, the best and brightest of black men got to collaborate, man. We got to put our heads together, man. Let the idiots do what they do. They're irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. But when it comes to us, man, we got to put our best minds together forward, man. That's why I'm always going to preach the doctrine of unity. I'm always going to preach the doctrine of unity. I'm never going to let anybody come around trying to preach the doctrine of division, especially when we look at our adversaries. They're not embodying that doctrine. They're not following that doctrine. They're not dividing each other up. They're not splitting each other up into little bits and pieces. No. They coming together. They boosting their numbers. So black men got to do the same, man. Black men got to do the same. Anyways, man, it's your boy Neferkar. That's the lane back in the Billy. Yes, indeed. Cash app in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wifey and hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I'm eating no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city they loving me. Standing alone I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting is still in reach. They try to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake, but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress, I've been gated away. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down, but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drive a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wifey and hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I'm eating no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news.